So speaking of propaganda and how Western intelligence agencies deceive the public systematically, there was a drone strike just recently in Syria that we were told was a great success. We were told that we should give great credit to President Biden because this drone strike in Syria took out a senior al-Qaeda leader. Remember al-Qaeda? We still hate al-Qaeda. We're still told for some reason they're a danger to the United States, even though I don't remember the last attack carried out by al-Qaeda on U.S. soil. It's been a while. But let's assume al-Qaeda is still this grave threat. We're all supposed to hate them. We're all supposed to applaud whenever we kill someone said to be in al-Qaeda, even though they just get replaced the next day and nothing changes, other than the need to replace those missiles we use to kill people. I still don't understand why we're even in Syria. There's no war in Syria that we're involved in, and yet we still have troops stationed in Syria. We're still bombing Syria. Of course, no congressional authorization. There was recently an attempt by Congressman Matt Gaetz with his sector of the Republican Party that in this one instance was joined by some of the progressives in the Democratic Party to deauthorize the use of troops in Syria, because I don't think anyone can ask the question why we're bombing there, why we're occupying Syria still. And it overwhelmingly failed because, as usual, the establishment wings of the Democratic and Republican Party united to keep those troops there the way Joe Biden and the CIA and the Pentagon want to. But as part of that weird, unexplained, unauthorized military campaign, we recently killed somebody, and we were told, as you can see here from Reuters on May 3rd, 2023, the U.S. targets senior al-Qaeda leader. U.S. strikes target senior al-Qaeda leader in northwest Syria. So this is the claim from the media all over the place, that we took out a senior leader of al-Qaeda, and everybody was happy. It turns out, and credit to the Washington Post for noting it, although it was the Pentagon that came to them and told them, because it was about to be exposed, that, as you see in their tweet, breaking news, U.S. military officials are walking back claims that a strike in Syria killed a senior al-Qaeda figure, following claims by the dead man's family that he had no ties to terrorists but was tending to sheep when he was slain by the missile. U.S. officials walk back claim drone strike killed senior al-Qaeda leaders. Terrorism experts and the dead man's family have cast doubt on a Pentagon statement indicating the operation targeted a high-ranking militant in Syria. And the article goes on to explain that this guy was a father of 10, that he has spent his whole life in poverty. They interviewed neighbors saying that he's always lived a very quiet life, that he was a bricklayer for a long time, and now he tends to sheep, and he was just had his life exterminated. And the U.S. government announced that it was a senior al-Qaeda official. The media mindlessly reported that. Now, this has been going on for many years. This is a critical way that the U.S. government lies on behalf of military operations that conducted by the United States, and it shows you how casually and willingly these new corporate media outlets are willing to lie, how casually and easily and eagerly they will write down whatever they're told to say by their sources in the U.S. security state. I'm sure you remember the genuinely horrific drone strike that President Biden ordered on our way out of Afghanistan that exterminated a family of 10 people, all completely innocent, no connections whatsoever to al-Qaeda or ISIS. At the time, though, we were told the exact opposite, that the drone strike actually killed a critical ISIS planner, one of the people who planned the suicide attack on the airport in Kabul days earlier that killed dozens of people, including U.S. soldiers. So here you see from the BBC on August 28, 2021, the exciting news: Afghanistan, U.S. says drone strike killed an ISIS planner. Here on the same date, NBC News, 2 high-profile ISIS targets killed in U.S. drone strike in Afghanistan, Pentagon says. This strike was not the last, President Biden said. We will continue to hunt down any person in that heinous attack and make them pay. So the Pentagon invented a lie that they had taken out a major participant in the suicide bombing at the Kabul airport. They disseminated this lie to the media outlets, that are their allies in propaganda arms, and these media outlets went and mindlessly circulated that claim. Now again, it was the New York Times, credit to them, that actually, in this case, did a real investigation. This is one of the instances where I have to say that very good journalism was done to uncover the truth. That instead, there you see the article from January 19, 2022, newly declassified video shows U.S. killing of 10 civilians in drone strikes. Quote, the New York Times obtained footage of the botched strike in Kabul, whose victims included 7 children, through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. Let's move this screen to that article. Newly declassified surveillance footage provides additional insights about the final minutes and aftermath of a botched U.S. drone strike last year in Kabul, Afghanistan, showing how the military made a life-or-death decision based on imagery that was fuzzy, hard to interpret in real time, and prone to confirmation bias. The strike on August 29th killed 10 innocent people, including 7 children, in a tragic blunder that punctuated the end of the 20-year war in Afghanistan. So, I don't blame the media for not immediately knowing that the identity of the victims were not actually ISIS planners, instead were innocent people. I understand why it takes time to investigate the lies of the US government. I've done it many times. It's hard work. But what I definitely do not understand, or at least vehemently disagree with, is their willingness, even when they have no idea who is killed in these strikes, to just repeat the claims of the Pentagon or the US government that the people we killed were all terrorists, that they were all militants. And this is a practice that has been going on for 2 decades now. I've written about it constantly. That the US media always writes down and publishes whatever the US security state tells them to say. And so many times it turns out to be a lie, because the US media has no idea whether what they're reporting is true or not. They don't care. All they know is the government told this to them, and that's enough for them to treat it as the truth. And that's one of the major reasons why the most toxic and destructive disseminators of disinformation in the United States are the very media outlets that proclaim to protect you from disinformation. Thanks for watching this clip from System Update. Catch our full shows for free, live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Rumble, and join our locals community at greenwald.locals.com for all of my written journalism, exclusive after-show Q&As, and more.